What would happen if, like Thanos in the Marvel universe, someone erased half of our universe's population? This isn't just a question for comic book fans, it's a thought experiment on a scale that's genuinely cosmic. You see, Thanos the Mad Titan didn't just snap away a few people here and there, he decimated half of all life everywhere. To give that some context, right now in our own universe, we're looking at around 7.8 billion people. If we were to take a leaf out of Thanos' book, that would mean roughly 3.9 billion people would just vanish. That's more than the entire population of Asia, or over 50 times the population of the United States. It's an event of such magnitude it's hard to even imagine, so let's try to do just that. Let's dwell into the aftermath of such an event. How would the world change? Picture this. One moment, the person next to you is there. The next, they're gone. Imagine the shock, the disbelief, the terror that would grip the world. Half the population vanished into thin air, just like Thanos' infamous snap in Marvel's Avengers. In the immediate aftermath, chaos would reign. Cities would echo with screams and cries of confusion and despair. Families would be torn apart, friends separated, and workplaces decimated. The global workforce would be slashed in half in an instant, leaving industries crippled and economies on the brink of collapse. The emotional upheaval would be unparalleled. The collective grief, the shared trauma, would cast a long, dark shadow over the world. The loss of loved ones would be unbearable for many, a pain so raw and profound that it would change the course of countless lives. The social implications would be equally staggering. Half the world's teachers, doctors, police officers, farmers, scientists, artists gone. The knowledge and skills they possessed, the roles they played in our society, lost in an instant. Communities would struggle to cope, to adapt, to fill the void left by those who vanished. In the midst of this chaos, panic would spread like wildfire. Fear of the unknown, fear of what comes next would drive people to desperation. Law and order could break down as people scramble for resources, for answers, for a semblance of normalcy in a world turned upside down. And what of our systems and structures, the intricate webs of interdependence that hold our world together? The sudden loss of half the population would be a shock to these systems unlike any other. Businesses would fail, governments would crumble, and the services we rely on every day, from electricity to healthcare, could be severely disrupted or even disappear entirely. Half the population vanished. But what about the systems and structures we've built? Would they withstand the shock, or would they collapse under the weight of sudden, unimaginable loss? That's a question we'll explore in the next scene. Imagine half of the world's doctors, engineers, farmers, and teachers no longer exist. Let that sink in for a moment. Now let's think about how this would impact various sectors of our daily life. Starting with healthcare, the sudden absence of half the world's doctors would mean a severe shortage of healthcare professionals. Long wait times, overworked staff, and a decline in quality care would be the norm. Diseases could spread rapidly, and without enough doctors to treat them, mortality rates would skyrocket. Next, let's consider education. With half of the world's teachers gone, class sizes would swell, and personal attention would be a thing of the past. Literacy rates would tumble, and the overall quality of education would plummet. A generation of children would grow up without the necessary knowledge and skills to navigate the world. In the realm of agriculture, the disappearance of half the world's farmers would lead to a significant decrease in food production. Food shortages would become commonplace, leading to increased prices and potentially widespread famine. And what about technology? With half of the world's engineers gone, technological advancement would slow down dramatically. We'd see fewer innovations, less progress, and a world that starts to look more like the past than the future. In essence, the infrastructure that keeps our world running would teeter on the brink of collapse. The world as we know it has changed, but what about the planet itself? With 3.9 billion people gone, the Earth breathes a sigh of relief. Imagine the sudden drop in pollution levels, the skies clearing up, the rivers running cleaner. With fewer people, there would be a significant reduction in carbon emissions, easing the pressure on our atmosphere. The smoggy veil over our cities would lift, revealing clear skies and fresh air. Furthermore, nature would have a chance to reclaim lost ground. Wildlife could potentially recover, with endangered species getting a new lease on life. Forests, previously shrinking at alarming rates, would have an opportunity to grow back, restoring habitats and strengthening biodiversity. However, it wouldn't all be rosy. With half the population gone, many of our man-made structures and facilities would be left abandoned. This includes nuclear power plants, which need constant monitoring and maintenance to prevent catastrophic incidents. With fewer hands at the helm, the risk of nuclear disasters could increase dramatically. Moreover, the sudden decrease in human activity could disrupt ecosystems. For instance, many animals have adapted to urban environments and depend on human waste for food. With that source gone, these animals would be forced to adjust again, leading to unpredictable consequences. In essence, the environmental impact of such a drastic population reduction is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it offers a reprieve to a planet strained by overpopulation and overconsumption. On the other, it presents new challenges that could lead to unforeseen disasters. A world half empty, yet the repercussions are far from over. In a world half empty, how do we pick up the pieces? As we navigate this new reality, society must restructure. The collapse of economies is inevitable, the world's financial markets having been built on the assumption of a full population. We must therefore find new ways of living, of trading, of surviving. With the void left by half the universe, the potential for new leadership arises. In the absence of the old, the new must take hold. We might see the rise of new power structures, perhaps even a shift towards communal living and shared resources. It's a brave new world, and we must be brave to face it. But let's not forget that even in times of change, the human spirit remains a constant. We are survivors, we are innovators, we are dreamers. We will find a way to make this new normal work for us. In the end, the question remains, would the universe be better off?
Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. That's all for Nifty Narration.